Hola tío, ¿qué pasa güey? Che boludo, ¿cómo estás huevón? No, I'm not having a stroke. All the words you see on the screen are different ways to say a friend, buddy, pal, dude in the Spanish-speaking world. Each country, and I remind you there's more than two, has various ways to refer to someone they deem as a brother from another mother. And today we're gonna go over the multiple countries to do just that. In this video we're gonna cover Spain and Mexico, and if this type of video is something you're interested in, please let me know, and we're gonna cover more countries. Good intro, very informative. Let's go. We start from the land of tapas, churros, flamenco, and Antonio Banderas. You got it, bienvenidos a España. Here we have two popular ways to call someone bro, and that's tío and colega. You know the word el tío or la tía is used to say uncle or aunt in Spanish. That's still correct, don't worry. But apparently in Spain this same word is used as a slang to refer to your closest friends and sometimes even to the random people you don't know. For example, ¿Qué tal el fin de semana, tío? Here we are interacting with our bro, but look at this. Esa tía es muy simpática, me cae genial. In this case we're not necessarily close to the person, so the translation for the word tía here is not gonna be this bro or this sis. It's gonna be more generic, for example this guy or this girl, which is same thing as saying esa chica es muy simpática, but with a Spanish twist. That is Spanish from Spain twist, don't forget that this applies only to Spain. In other countries el tío or la tía only mean uncle and aunt, as God intended. Another way of referring to someone close to you in Spain is by using the word el or la colega, which again sounds familiar to you because it means a colleague, as in someone you work with, similar to el compañero or la compañera. And this word can also be used to say a friend or a buddy, just like tío. So if you feel adventurous, you could say something like mis colegas y yo vamos a cenar juntos. Or maybe qué sorpresa verte aquí, colega. And just like that, you get to pass as one of the Spaniards, drink the cerveza like a local and be invited to all types of places. But for now, I'm gonna have to ask you to put down that delicious jamón y queso sandwich with sangria, because we're buying a ticket to our next destination that will blow your socks off, but that's okay because it's hot as hell anyway. Mexico, we're in Mexico. After having some taquitos flashed down with 13 bottles of Scorpion tequila, it's finally time to put on a giant-ass sombrero, maracas and absolutely nothing else because you spent all the money on taquitos and tequila. It's time to exit the airport and go introduce ourselves to the locals. Since the money is tight, I have to share a taxi with two Mexicans to get to town. As soon as we start driving, one of the guys is trying to start the conversation with me by saying ¿Qué onda, güey? Now, I know that ¿Qué onda means what's up in Latin American Spanish, similarly to how ¿Qué pasa works. But what was that at the end of the sentence? Did he call me gay or something? I put my maracas away and asked him to repeat. Apparently the word he used is way, and learning how this word works is one of the most important things you can do if you want to learn the Mexican way of life. The word way comes from the Spanish word el buey, which means an ox. Originally it was used as an insult, basically calling someone dumb like an ox. But now it evolved to also be an informal way to referring to your closest friends. So when we hear ¿Qué onda, güey?, it's a very popular way how Mexicans say what's up, dude. You can also say ¿Qué pasa, güey?, it's the same thing. Before we proceed with more examples, I want to briefly discuss the spelling of the word way. What you see on the screen right now is the official way of how this word is spelled. However, in reality you will be seeing it spelled more with like a way, with a W, which is a modern, simplified option and much easier to type. The pronunciation doesn't change, so nothing to worry about. If you want to learn what these two dots are doing on the top of the letter U, I have a video for you that does just that. I will be using both types of spelling from now on, so that you can get used to each. Let's proceed. Here are more examples of a friendly version of the word way. No manches, güey, ¿en serio pasó eso? Or maybe, ese güey es mi mejor amigo. And last one, vamos a la playa, va a estar padrísimo, güey. Now, the word way is something we should be also careful about. Remember how I said it started as an insult? Well, that didn't go anywhere, which means that depending on the context and the tone, the word way can be used in a pejorative form, meaning stupid or an idiot. It can start as a friendly, teasing insult, for example, eres bien güey, haha, which can grow to something harsh, estás bien güey, or even more serious, pinche güey. It all depends on the tone of the voice and situation. That will decide whether it's playful or aggressive. The rule is simple and same as ever. Never use the word way in formal settings or with elderly and strangers. But once you found someone to use it freely with, that means your immersion into the Mexican culture has been a great success. We're not done yet though. The next slang word you can use to address someone close to you in Mexico is mano, which is just a shorter form of the word hermano, a brother. For the ladies you can use mana, which comes from hermana. The only thing to be careful here is that the word la mano also means a hand in Spanish, so don't get confused. Let's see some examples. ¿Vienes a la fiesta, mano? If you want to make it sound even more adorable, you can use the diminutive version of the word mano, which is manito o manita. For example, mi manito Juan siempre me echa la mano. Here we can see that we have manito as a bro and la mano, which is a part of the expression echar la mano, meaning help out or to give a hand. That's what I was talking about. Don't confuse la mano, a hand, with the mano manito, which is the short version of hermano. One more example. ¿Me pasas las llaves del carro, manito? Let's continue to the next word, and that's carnal or carnala for ladies. This word comes from la carne, a meat or flesh, and it's used to describe someone who is a blood brother or someone of the same flesh and blood. It can be used to refer to your actual family members because you come from the same blood, you know? But over time it also came to mean a very close friend. That's what we are after. In general, carnal can sound playful like güey, but it's very popular to use it when you want to show a true affection, respect, brotherhood, and loyalty. For example, gracias carnal, no sé qué haría sin ti. Ese carnal siempre me apoya en todo. Ese carnal y yo somos amigos desde la primaria. The last word for today is cuate. By default, the word el cuate or la cuata means a fraternal twin in the Mexican Spanish. So naturally, as you can imagine, this word became another option to describe someone very close to us. Even though this word is more old-fashioned compared to güey and carnal, it's still used quite a lot, so it's worth learning it. Let's look at some examples. Ese cuate vive en mi barrio. Oye cuate, ¿me ayudas con esto? Qué chistoso eres, cuate. And just like that, we can infiltrate ourselves into Spanish and Mexican cultures and make friends, bros for life. So let's do a quick recap. In Spain, we can use el tío or la tía and el colega or la colega to refer to someone close to us. But don't forget that el tío and la tía mean uncle and aunt, and el colega, la colega means a colleague, someone you work with. In Mexico, we got a little bit more to play with. First, we have güey, a word that started as an insult, trying to call someone dumb like an ox, which you can still do, but it gradually evolved to also being an option for you to call your closest friends. Then we have mano or manito, which is just a shorter version of the word hermano, similarly to how we got bro from brother in English. The third Mexican word we learned was carnal, and it's used to describe someone so close to you that you would consider them of the same blood, or maybe a blood relative. Finally, the word cuate is used to describe someone you consider to be your twin. Can be actual twin or maybe your bro or dude. That's it for today. You can find a PDF document with all the examples and explanations we've covered in the video description. I hope it was informative, and if it was so, please let me know so we can cover other countries as well. Thank you for watching, and see ya!